welcome back to Video Drones. I'm Hannah Hart.
I'm Nick Hart.
And this is Junji Hart. He's our lovely little man, recent addition to the family. He's just glorious. He'll be roaming around during our videos. It's been a long time since we did a video. Around about April last year, 2023. Of course he wants to bite.
And purr.
And purr. And bite. And purr. Yeah, around April 2023 was our last one. We got COVID. I got long COVID. I'm still not 100%, but I'm feeling a bit better. We spent all of our energy and time that I had to spare, which wasn't a lot, but enough, to just really get into our band, our wholesome family band, Moira Mother, with me and Nick and my son, Noah. Our album, Miracle Healing Crusade, made it to number 8 and number 10 on the New Zealand official chart. So that's great. We did really well with the album, thanks to Leather Jacket Records. And we did some really amazing gigs with some really amazing bands. So that's been cool. But we do really miss talking about movies, because it's still like our big main passion, and we still watch lots and lots of films, of course, and talk about them. So we thought, as like a sort of, hey, we're back, we'd do our top 10 best and worst films of 2023.
It might not be a regular thing, but we'll just do a trial.
We'll see how it goes. And we'd like to do it because there's just so many great films that we really do want to talk about and spread the word about. And this is a really good way to do it. Share our passion for cinema with all of you, and just sort of celebrate the really fine films that have been coming out. And this year especially has been so good, particularly in the horror genre. Most of my top 10 are horror, not gonna lie. What a great year for cinema it has been. The NZIFF this year, the New Zealand International Film Festival, was a bit hit and miss. There was a few really good films that we were surprised to not see included, like The Shrouds.
They had a new director, and they are doing things a bit differently, and they didn't choose, or they weren't maybe able to obtain many of the films that were on at Cannes earlier in the year, which they usually get most of. So that was
Rumours wasn't on it.
Yeah.
It was okay. It wasn't the best year, but I did see some great films, including Cuckoo. Well, I'm glad to see that on a big screen.
Save it for the
Oh yes, true. So we should get into it, I suppose. So we're going to start out with the best, and some of our films overlapped, so we've kind of compromised and put some of our favourites on each other's lists, as you can imagine. So do you want to kick it off?
Yes, well, mine isn't in any particular order, but probably the best film that I saw at the festival this year was Dahomey by Mati Diop, which was about some Senegal artifacts that had been sort of colonialized and were currently in French museums, and they were finally being returned to their home place. And it was a really interesting film because it was almost like obviously it was a documentary, but they had the statues kind of narrating the story of like how they might have felt being returned to the homeland. And it was almost like a fictional film in some ways as well. It was really, really cool.
I didn't get to see that, but I am really looking forward to it. The Substance has become one of my favourite films of all time. We saw it 3 times at the cinema and could have easily seen it more. I think it's a film that grows on you with each viewing. The second and third viewing became increasingly more emotional. Demi Moore needs an Oscar for her performance. She was phenomenal. Caroline Fargent. What an exciting director.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I thought Fargent.
I don't know.
Faget?
I don't know. It's French. I don't know how to
Faget.
pronounce it.
Maybe
But
Faget.
it's Geat, so Faget. It would
Maybe
have a
Faget.
U if it was Faget. But I don't know.
Faget.
I don't know.
Margaret Qualley. I absolutely adore Margaret Qualley ever since The Leftovers, and she's one of those really good examples of a nepotism baby done well. And of course, body horror.
She's a lot more interesting than her mother.
Yeah, Mother's so insipid, but Margaret, yeah, she's so good. And of course, heaps and heaps of practical effects, mostly practical effects, which makes my little heart very, very happy. Probably one of my favourite films of all time now. Just good on every level.
That's probably my second favourite of the year as well. I loved it.
yes, we had a lot of fun watching that. And what's your second? We're not in any order.
Yeah,
we're not
no
really
order.
ranking them. It's just whatever I wrote them down.
But I loved Chime by Kiyoshi Kurosawa.
Yes,
Even though, I mean, it almost might not be on the list because it's only 45 minutes long, so it's not a feature film. But I don't care. It's a long time. Like, he doesn't do horror films very often anymore, and when he does, I mean, this one as well, I thought was a lot better than Creepy, which is a great film.
I love Creepy
as well. I love it too, but I think it's almost like he wanted to return to his more kind of formal experimentation of films like Charisma and Pulse and especially Cure, where he's doing really interesting things with composition and editing and especially sound design in this case. So that was really exciting, and he does have a new horror coming up called Cloud, I think, which I'm really excited about, and that's a feature film.
Like, I just wish I could have seen Charm on the big screen. I really wish it would have been amazing, but it was such a treat, and yeah, really loved that as well.
It had one of the weirdest kind of release patterns or whatever that I've heard of. It was like you could buy it almost like an NFT, and you could buy the rights to screen it for people for $600 American or something like that. It was quite a weird thing. I almost wanted to, but I of course didn't have the money. But
yeah, really excited to see more from our favourite director, our favourite living director. I really love The Devil's Bath.
Same.
The main actor, Anya, I can't say her last name. It's really difficult. It's an Austrian film about life in Austria in sort of medieval era. Anya, the actress, the main actress, she actually did the score, and she's not really an actress, but she auditioned for the role and she got it, and she gave one of the most incredible performances of the year easily. It's such a great film. It's got a Tarkovskian kind of beauty about it and pacing, but it is a horror in terms of like the real horror of what people experienced in that era, especially women. If you were unhappy, it was a sin to kill yourself in this era. Great sin, a grave sin. So women, this is all based on a true historical event, and more than one historical event about what women would do in order to be killed so that they wouldn't have to kill themselves. And it's absolutely heartbreaking, just sort of what women had to deal with then. There was no treatment for depression. Like they did this treatment where they thread some of her hair through the back of her neck, and she has to tug at it to kind of make her less depressed. It's horrific. It's really horrific and really stuck with me. Incredible performance, is absolutely devastating, and I've become a really big fan of Anya's work. Soap and Bones, I think her music is. She's such a fascinating person, and yeah.
Those directors are really interesting too. I find it fascinating that
Severin and Veronica.
Yeah, that one of them is the other's. Like I think the male is like the nephew, not the nephew, but the nephew. I think like there's a big age difference, and the older woman out of the duo is the wife of Ulrich Seidel, who I don't think he's made a film recently because he was accused in his last film of like exploiting children or something, or getting children to act in a film that was about a pedophile or something like that. But yeah, they're great directors. The Lodge and Goodnight Mommy.
Yes, they're such great. We really love. The Lodge is so underrated. Goodnight Mommy's a bit better well known, but yeah, such a great film.
Yes,
just adored it, and could just write essays on that. The Devil's Bath, absolutely.
So I had The Substance next to my list, but then after that, Blitz by Steve McQueen. I saw a lot of people saying, like Commode, saying that it's Steve McQueen light, and other people sort of saying the same thing, that it's like Steve McQueen without the sort of formal experimentation, and that it's like him doing a kid's film. And it kind of, it has a child at the centre, but it's still pretty bleak in a lot of ways, and I was surprised to find that it does have a lot of experimentation still, and it's probably one of Hans Zimmer's most experimental scores as well. You just have to put up with sounds of Junji trying to eat my our 4-track, and yeah, I think it's really good. I don't think Steve McQueen has ever made a bad film, or a boring film. So to say it's like him doing a kids film, it's kind of like saying, recommending Threads for teenagers.
I don't think it's quite that extreme. I do think children could watch this.
It's not, but I'm just saying kids the age of the
protagonist.
Yeah. I mean, there are scenes with like decapitated bodies and a woman
brandishing an arm
and things like
but
that.
It's quite comedic, that moment. I don't know.
It's quite scary.
I would have shown
she's usually a comedic actor, and in that role, she's terrifying. And that's Stephen Rea. He's in it, and he's really scary. I mean, I don't think anyone does cruelty as well as Steve McQueen, and that's because there is so much cruelty in the world, and he's really good at kind of maybe insisting on portraying it in a more realistic way than most producers want things to be, because they want everything to be black and white. The baddies and goodies, but Steve McQueen's baddies usually come smiling at the start. It's
gorgeous to look at, absolutely sumptuous, and a really important film about racism and African immigrants. I feel like anyone who didn't like this film doesn't like children and women and white people very much.
Yeah, it's a big chunk of it centered around the woman working behind the scenes.
Which is another important thing for people to know about the work that women did during the war. And I mean, like, we've seen so many war films with lots of scenes of action and people shooting each other. Like, there's less of that in this film. Does that make it any more relevant? I think it makes it more relevant because it's dealing with, things that were really happening in the era, social issues on top of the warfare, the segregation. Just, it's a really interesting film from a historical perspective as well, and one that hasn't been talked about enough. Yes. Smile 2.
Yes, which I love too.
That's an example of a sequel that I think actually outdid the original.
Way outdid it. I mean, I love the original, but it's like at least 10 times better.
It's so good. Naomi Scott gives another blisteringly incredible performance. Like, that must have been exhausting, and I didn't realize until later, but the person who plays her sort of partner, he's played by Ray Nicholson, who is Jack Nicholson's son. And he's good at doing a creepy smile. It's the perfect choice for a creepy smile character. It's so much fun, and it's got genuine horror and dread and a lot of existential kind of angst. It deals with grief and trauma, and how, like, almost like your fear is infectious and your paranoia can become infectious, and it's just got so many J horror references, which is what we really loved about the original. They've kept up with that. They've also Junji's just trying to help out. The creature itself, I think, is very Junji Ito inspired, especially around the eyes. When I saw the creature, all I could think of was Junji Ito. The only thing is, though, coming into the movie, I'm not going to spoil it, but I said, I think this is what's going to happen, and that is what happened. So I could see it coming, but I don't know if everybody could see it coming. But I saw it coming, and I was still really happy with the payoff. Nice and gruesome, lots of practical effects. So much fun. I was grinning through the whole thing and wincing and squirming, and it was great. I like visceral reactions. And that and The Substance gave me lots of visceral reactions.
Yes. Same. Great score.
Such a good score. Cristobal.
Tapia de Vere. Yes, really good.
I've been a bit obsessed with him since Utopia, the British TV show. I won't even recognise that there's an American remake thing of the show. But he's such an interesting composer. Love his work, so I was very excited to hear he was going to be working on this.
He's best when he does horror scores, I think.
Oh yeah. So. Well, Utopia is quite horrific. It's definitely not. Yeah, it's very.
But it's
horror-ish.
A bit quirky for me, and he's done the baby. I've listened to the whole score.
Oh, you mean the score is quirky?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
he's just done the Baby Girl score as well, which is supposed to be an erotic thriller, but the score is it's like The Menu or something. It's quite kind of quirky and light and bubbly, and I don't know.
Yeah, and he's darker and weirder, the better.
But it is from the director of Bodies, so it probably will be a bit funny as well.
We hated that movie.
That film.
It's terrible. It was awful. I don't understand why anyone liked that.
My next one is Rumours by Guy Maddin.
Oh, Guy Maddin!
And I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit and say that one of the exciting things that happened this year was that I wrote a review of My Winnipeg, which was screening at the gallery in Christchurch, and he saw it and he sent me a message and said that it's going directly in my diary as my favourite review ever. And we had some other interaction after that, which was really nice. So
he got to hear that we reference him for quite frequently, because when he was in the Criterion Closet, he does this thing where he puts the DVDs in the bag.
Yeah,
and
bag.
So go bag. And we told him about that, and then when he messaged back, he did bag in big capital letters, and we thought that was really cute.
Every time we get a shopping bag out, I always go bag.
Yeah, he's wonderful. That was such a great film.
So
good, so different from anything else, and exciting, and
it's probably the most sort of straight ahead film he's done. But it's I mean, having an American president played by someone doing a British accent, or not an accent, but their own accent, is hilarious, and Kate Blanchett's accent is so good.
Why are you covered in mud?
Yeah, it's so good.
So good. So many great moments to reference. Just
and
bonkers
actually,
too. It's really weird. It's still weird enough, It's
I need to say this too. Sorry, that it's actually co-directed by
that's right.
Evan and Galen Johnson, because I kind of forget that just because I'm so used to Guy Maddin doing Guy Maddin films. But I think they may have originally started kind of helping out in like CG departments or visual effects departments, but they've gradually, I mean, one of them wrote the whole screenplay, so
it's a great screenplay.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. It's very absurd,
really, really good
in the best possible way. And the sort of theme of dealing with the G7 leaders is just a great place to start. Are you kidding me? Brilliant.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to say Nora. I saw that last night. I really wanted to get that in before the end of the year. And the whole time I was thinking, yeah, this is a great film. I'm really enjoying this. I loved Red Rocket. That's the only one of his films I've seen. And I was loving it. I mean, I thought it was a great film. A lot of fun. A lot of darkness coming in. But the ending, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the ending got me so hard and so intensely. And then I thought, well, this is actually a masterpiece.
Yeah, the last scene is my favourite scene easily in that film.
That sealed the whole journey for me and just made me just be in complete awe. What's the director's name again, sorry?
Sean Baker.
Sean Baker. He is wow. And it won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. And yeah, well deserved. Even though there's been some wonderful films, I can see why.
Yeah.
Masterful work.
Yeah, I probably would have chosen something different. But Greta Gerwig was the president of the jury, and I can kind of see like an American film comedy appealing to her and the other people in the jury.
It's very dark.
So it makes sense. Yeah.
But not in a like, it wasn't cheesy or annoying or sentimental. It was one of the things I love about his work is that it's very realistic. It's the kind of sex scenes that really make sense in a film and just add to the story and are very realistic, and I really appreciate that element in the film. Just brilliant. What's your next one?
My next one is Kinds of Kindness.
Yes.
By Yorgos Lanthimos. Speaking of cruelty.
Yes, he's the best at cruelty ever.
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun. We got to see that on the big screen. Was that from the film festival? I don't think it was.
No, it wasn't. We just saw it. I mean, I guess with Poor Things being so successful, he's, and The Favourite winning an Academy Award and stuff like that. He's just, all of his films are kind of major studios films now.
The Favourite is still my favourite of his films, I think, at this point. But I think that might change because I really want to revisit his films again. But Kinds of Kindness was brilliant. He's always so brilliant. Just,
I like this one and Killing of a Sacred Deer the most. I think.
I need to revisit that because the first time I saw it, I just was really annoyed at Nicole Kidman's character. It was bugging me, got under my skin.
They are all sort of unlikable characters.
Yeah, that's kind of what he does. I loved the first Omen, another great sequel prequel. I liked it better than the original films. I mean, I know they're iconic, but with a female-centered lead, now Tiger Free was in Akasha. She's a female director, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything she's done previously, but yeah.
It was a
really good director.
It was so well directed. There was definitely an Isabella Gianni level of intensity of performance from Nell. There's been some great female performances this year. They've just been killing it. I think Nicolas Cage in Longlegs was the best male performance, but it's just been overshadowed by so many amazing female performances. She really had that Isabella Gianni like intensity. It looks gorgeous. It's very subversive and very dark and really great effects and genuinely creepy. And I think it really took what's best of the original films and added to it and created its own mythology. And to a lesser degree, I really enjoyed what was the one with Sydney Sweeney?
Immaculate. Yeah.
I did like that. I especially like the end of Immaculate. It wasn't as good as the first Omen.
He's not a great director.
No,
that guy.
But the ending of Immaculate made me really happy. I was like, this is an amazing ending. It's very subversive and unexpected, and I really enjoyed that. But yeah, big thumbs up to the first Omen. That was a lot of fun.
The next one I have on my list is Made in England: The Films of Powell and Pressburger, which is another documentary. Oh, you did. We both watched it at home.
What was it about?
It's about the films of Powell and Pressburger. It's who did the Red Shoes, Black Narcissus.
I think I wasn't really paying attention.
No, you weren't.
Sometimes I do that.
Doom
I have
scrolling.
ADHD. It's hard.
But yeah, that was amazing. A real film lovers kind of experience. And Queer by Luca Guadagnino, which is coming out. Well, it is out overseas, but not in New Zealand yet. That was like the main inspiration behind that was the films of Powell and Pressburger. So it's going to kind of look like the Red Shoes or something.
Oh wow! That film was gorgeous.
They're very influential. I mean, there's a lot of people sort of mention them, but yeah, there's a lot of Scorsese in the documentary too, as you'd expect, because his editor Thelma Schoonmaker, she was married to Michael Powell, sort of in the later years of his life. So they talk quite a bit in it. Yeah, but there's not much else to talk about it.
We both really loved Sakamoto's Opus, which is by far the most emotional experience of this year, I think. I cried so hard my face was all puffy. It's not like it's playing on trying to be sentimental or sad or anything like that, but it's just so hard to see a composer, a person that we adore so much, like clearly in the process of beginning to die, so gently and empathetically directed by his son Neo, who we got to meet. And he came to Tautahi Christchurch. He actually came here and did a Q&A, and so we got to talk to him, and afterwards he was really chatty, just hung out and chatted, and that was a pretty intense experience to meet Sakamoto's son. But it's Sakamoto playing a retrospective of his work, and that's it. And it's just amazing. We saw it on a really cold winter's day. It was raining, it was freezing cold, and it was a sold out show, but not everybody turned up, I guess, because of the weather. But it was for people like us who adore Sakamoto so much but have never been able to see him in concert. It was
nice view.
Nice view. It was incredibly intimate experience.
Just like this is an intimate experience.
Yes, it was such an intimate. Seriously, it's such an intimate experience, and gave us the experience of being almost even better than being at a show, because we were right there with him in the room and just hearing him breathe and play, and just when he was just tired and take a break. It was very, very, very
he'd been
emotional.
sick for quite a while, and he wanted to do one last performance or tour even, but the only thing he could really do is film it because they did it over 8 days and did a couple of songs each day. And there's a moment halfway through where he stops halfway through a song, I think, and sort of says that's enough for today or something. It's quite hard to watch at times. He's probably my favourite composer. So,
but such a incredible gift to leave behind and to have to watch over and over again. Just so sensitive.
And his son has just released his debut fictional kind of film as well, called Happy End, which I think was the title of one of the members of Yellow Magic Orchestra solo songs or something. That's the band that Sakamoto used to play in originally. Yeah,
Thank you for that, Neo. We really appreciate such a special film. What was your next one?
Hard Truths by Mike Leigh.
I still haven't seen that. You said it was really good.
Yeah,
I bet I'll like it. Mike Leigh's amazing.
So sometimes you're lucky to sort of see like Queer's out overseas. The Brutalist is out, and that's probably the film that I'm most excited about seeing. The score is really beautiful, but yeah, I got to see Hard Truths pretty early apparently, because people maybe even in the UK have been asking where I got to see it so early. But they had a British and Irish film festival here, that was one of the films showing. It's got the actor from Secrets and Lies. I should really look up her name. She was amazing. I'd be surprised if well, maybe I'm not surprised, but she should be nominated for an Oscar for her performance. It's really, really memorable.
Mike Leigh is so good at getting these phenomenal performances out of actors, but without them feeling like they're acting or reading a script.
There is no script. They literally spend, sometimes years sort of working out their characters and I guess rehearsing what their characters would do in specific situations.
That's so cool.
And by the time they film, they know exactly what the scene will be and what their character should do if they were in that situation. And Marianne Jean-Baptiste, she was in Secrets and Lies, very different, like the complete opposite role in this. She's kind of like a train wreck that you can't look away from, and it's like a comedy, but then there's sort of halfway through there's a moment of real sensitivity, and it's sort of changes kind of like Honora did with that last scene. It's very much like that, but it happens halfway through the film, and then you start to sort of see her character in a really different light.
Oh, I can't wait to see that one. Well, another film that I missed seeing at the was it the British and Irish Film Festival? What are they called?
I don't know if you came to it.
I didn't come to it, no, but it was showing at that same festival you saw Hard Truths at was Kneecap.